Do you guys hear me? Now I'm turn on microphone again, so let's see if it's... Yeah, perfect. Sorry guys, this is not my normal setup. And I'm pretty glad that I kind of managed to kind of make it work somehow. What I can. Freak, what I can. Cool. Yeah. So, okay, do you guys... Let's start kind of from the start. Yeah, cool. So I will start from the beginning, kind of. As you guys know, I had a break 2 months, 3 months from streaming. There were kind of family issue where my dad died, and because of that, I wasn't up to running with the game. So what's happening right now, I'm kind of slowly getting up to with the speed of development again, and happening a lot of stuff. So in these 3 months, I modified 2 parts of the game. First is the technology, so the part that is really not so much visible inside the game itself, but it's affecting the way how it works and the way how I develop it. And another thing is the graphics part, which is super kind of visible thing. But I need to do it because I slowly moving into direction of the developing the interiors. And I will show some sneak peeks of the feature for the interiors that I'm doing right now. So this is like the 2 big topics that I'm working on. And this will continue for some time because sadly I didn't manage to finish everything. So yeah, let's see if after running the game, it will not start losing frames. So yeah. This, and let's start the game. Okay. Question, guys, do you see the game? Perfect. So the first thing that you will notice, this is not a twin cell model. And this is female character, kind of, I call them the dolls. So I have the dolls for every kind of dolls puppet. They are, I have it for every race except spheres. So what's happening is this is just the temporarily like the models which I'm using for animation and placeholder before I will make the proper models for every character. And this is supposed to be work on Zoe model or her behaviors. And what happened is, well, I replaced the twin son with her and stayed like that. So what we have is the new lighting model that I introduced. So I don't know if you recognize from the previous video, but the quality of the rendering improved a lot comparing to it. And this is not obvious kind of change, at least in the first one, but it's allowing me to do a lot interesting stuff. So if you look on the character, focus on just the characters, which getting this green tint when we entering the forest. And when we will enter the beach on the level, we'll get a little bit different tint. This is the more the tint of the beach, the sand on it. So what will happen there I will show it in more details inside the tooling, that I have control over the lighting of the location. This is very important because it's allowing to do pretty cool stuff. Like, for example, here is the sand. Here is more greenish feel to it, where there is grass reflecting on the surfaces, and by indirect lighting adding this green tint. And there is no shadow. Yes, ANSI. This is because I'm using this test model, which have shadows disabled. No, this is control on the gamepad. So how it working is not the tank control, but this is the view control. So if you're pressing forward in the controller, you're moving forward on the screen. And if I rotate by some angle and press forward, it will still run forward. Yeah, it's modernized control. There will be also no behaviors. So I'm throwing away it and will just change control to handle that. In modern days, this is not making too much sense, and in fact complicate a lot of stuff. So yeah, so what I'm meaning about the moods, also returning to the topic, is like, you see, here is more kind of lively mood. But when you enter the graveyard, for example, the mood changing, again, it's getting a little bit darker. It's not very visible, but it's a little bit like it's visible when you're using the game. So it's getting darker, but then you leave it, and everything again kind of becoming more lively. This allowing me to control locally the mood of the location. Yeah, it's not so subtle, Blake. When you will start using it inside the levels, they're making really big difference. I will show that in the in the tools. So yeah, so this is one of the biggest change. Another big change is that I'm slowly working on the location. So I will show some of one of the buildings that I kind of done a little bit more than others. But I slowly covering every building, that you could enter every building inside the game. And this will be the goal, that you will be able to enter most of them, because it will be pretty fun to explore the life of the citizens and everything. If I don't main it because of the time limitation, I will just lock some of the doors. So yeah, let's try to enter my test house. It's over here. So yeah, this is that house that don't have the cube map set. So it's pretty dark. So I will enter the more light, like the location, and well, look at that. The walls disappearing. This is kind of the new effect which I'm working on. It's still not finished. I'm still not fully satisfied with it, but it's allowing you to hide the walls that would otherwise obstruct the player. So as you see, you can enter and everything. Yeah, this will be a little bit different also, Mike, because what will happen there, I don't like that there is no any indication that there is wall. So I will be doing what I will be doing there. I will be doing second pass, where I will be rendering this wall with a lot of transparency. So it will be black wall with a lot of transparency. So it will indicate that there is wall and you are behind it, but in the same time, it will not obstruct your vision enough. Yeah. So yeah, like, focus on the lighting here. It's pretty dark. And now I will go to another location which is pretty much finished, like done more or less properly. And this will be the bar. So let's go there, through the park. Well, camera still will be improved. It will be better. What's happening right now is, like, this is another of the low-level changes that I mentioned. Right now I'm using the gamepad, but I also added support to the old, like the small arcade controller, which have the 6 buttons and stick. And I will be trying also make that the game is playable in this configuration, so it will be a little bit arcade arcade feel to it. So yeah, let's enter chess look. As you see, the door is not configured properly. And this is the location that have already the light maps that the light props that I mentioned. So as you see, it's a lot more brighter and allowing you to control it. And here is once again the same feature, which is pretty kind of cool because it's allowing me to do stuff like this, like here, entering higher level. It's only hiding like the top level. So this is kind of more or less layout of the chess look that I want to do. It will be a lot more better when I will finish. But this is like the layout that I came up, and I think it's pretty decent. So there is like the lower level where there will be bar and there will be scene. Here you will be entered. There will be some lights here. So when you are entering the top of it, you can see that's what's happening there. Well, the sim vibe, it's because it's not finished. Unseen. It's like you need to take into account that all of that is not properly done. So the walls are just plain. That's why there is no like the elements there. And if you think about the houses from the LBA, they are pretty generic. So I'll be trying to add more there, like the vibe to it. I don't think so. I kind of, let's see. Let's see if this option. Okay, let's see. I changed it right now to a little bit higher, so low latency quality. Well, let's check this one. Question, can you change right now the quality for the higher? I changed the encoding properties, but I'm not sure it will help. If not, then sorry. It's like I will just re-show that. Yeah, I touched the settings, Blake. But yeah, as I mentioned, it's like with current setup, I prefer to have the lower resolution but show something. But yeah. Yeah, I will. Sorry, Blake. Sorry, guys. I will just do more update in the next month. So, yep. Yeah, this is the most important, Blake, right now. The stable stream. I don't want to have any kind of the drops like before. So let's see. Yep. So yeah. Yep. So we have this whole chess look. Yep. Yep. So I have the chess look right now done. And when you're going down, there will be the scene, there will be the bathroom, which I try to add to every location that is make a little bit more sense, like about it. We'll also add some new details, and there is of course basement, like in the original LBA, and this is kind of what you can achieve with the whole system of hiding the walls. You'll see that I'm hiding the walls, but not the beams that are there, which adding extra kind of the mood to the location. And also not hiding any obstruction like barrels. So, well, this is kind of how it is, and we have pretty good kind of control. As I mentioned, I'm still working on that, so this is work in progress. Another thing, as you see, I am investment, but the lighting is kind of not looking like basement. So what's happening? The lighting is using the global lighting, which is kind of problematic, but well, I will be changing that soon and adding local lighting. But this is worth for like a month to add it properly, because this is, as I mentioned, using right now physics-based rendering, which is used by most of the modern engines like the AAAs. So we're slowly getting into the world of the better kind of graphics. The papers that I'm using I use for the Unity, Unreal, Frostbite, and a few others engines. So, and it's looks pretty cool, and the whole system is implemented in the way that I can just, you know, dynamically control everything. So yeah, this is the second location, and I will show you later, guys, like the why is important that the PBR was there, because it may not be obvious and it may seem like the small touches, but it's really making a big difference. But yeah. For now, I don't focusing on the music. Also, the sound is something that I will need to start working on. And for now, I suspect that I will be using the reward music. But this is kind of something that I will always start thinking when I will have finally create the mood for the location and the characters. Because this is important for me, that the music reflect what is inside the game. And it's not exactly, as you're seeing, it's exterior is pretty kind of realistic, but it's in the same time it's have this cartoonish kind of feel to it, and I meaning like this surreal feel, and I want to stay with that, and I also want the music reflect that. Yep. So for now there is no new music, but I will thinking about the reworking, and it won't be me. This is sorry, but the audio stuff is not something that I will take care of. Also, as you may notice, sometimes disappearing like the columns for the walls, and this is because I'm still experimenting with the shader, and it's, let's say, put there that it works, but I still try to figure it out how to control it properly. Another thing that I kind of redone is in the middle of this shader, I changed the way how I'm handling these damages on the houses. So what's happening here is like there is, when I'm creating the model, it's just one model. There is no, I don't need to create special texture for that. Now I'm defining two layers. There is layer of the bricks that we see in the green buildings on the left. And there is the layer of the covering the bricks. So it's like the finish of the house. And I can decide inside the model which part of the house I want to transit from one to another. Which before it didn't look so well, but I improved it, and with this build I think it looks better and I have better control. And this is something that I will be working. Yeah. Another thing is like we're working, I still kind of iterating over the whole kind of workflow and improving small details here and there, fixing the models, adding some details there. And another thing that you may notice is kind of the metal on the roof. I'll show you later it inside the editor. But what you can see here is like the metals look like metal right now. Possible, it's like we'll see. It's you see, like it's I need to cut the amount of the features that I have already. It's pretty big thing, and I touching pretty heavy stuff with which I don't know. Like the PBRs, I still learning them, and there is a lot of math and a lot of weird computation there. But yeah, we'll see. For now, my goal is to assemble the gameplay, and I'm slowly working on that. So adding gameplay elements in the ways that I'm creating the whole flow of the game. And probably on the next anniversary of LBA1, I will show a lot more of that. But for now, it's just I try to cut what I don't need to do and try to focus on stuff that I need to do. So yeah, this is more or less kind of the biggest changes that I done here. There is few new models here and there. Few improvements, as I mentioned, for the rendering. I need to change few stuff. I would love if you running over here, that not only the details disappearing, but also house, like the building itself disappear. So I could see how character moving under the bridge there. What else? I kind of still doing a lot of bug fixes, a lot of stabilization. I found a lot of issue with the tooling for the exporting the models, animations of the models, and still working on the workflow for adding the light maps. I replaced these models. I just retexture it and read on everything. So there is like this small beach where in the original game there is a place where ship docking, and this will be the place here in the remake. Yep, and in the game, kind of part of it, I'm adding a lot of new locations and slowly moving forward. Nope, you cannot walk on the water. This is kind of excess. The water will be replaced because this is still old waters and it's kind of not supporting a lot of features which I want to support, and it should improve a lot more. It's like this is not the quality that I'm going higher. I want it to really feel kind of polished. Nope. As you see, you cannot even under the water and not get out from it. Yep. So there is deep water here. But yeah. So this is the part of the one part of the things that I work on. The second part is a little bit different. The second part is this, which so here we are on the level that I mentioned before. So as you see, here walls not disappear. This is another kind of big thing that I done. Is like it may look small, but it's pretty kind of big change for the whole system. Where I can just switch to the game view, and then I can simulate the disappearing of the wall inside the editor. Which is pretty cool because I'm switching to editor and I can just see everything how it is. And let's focus on the one of the houses that I finished. So let's go to the chess look. Oh, here it is. So here we have the chess look. And as you see, there is these spheres, which are the light props that I mentioned. And right now the light prop is sphere ton. So let's check some others light just to show you how much this one like the light prop can change. Let's go to the light maps, light probes, where I had them. I'm in the game. Material scripts, probes. So let's go with some others. So this is the sphere ton. Which one is that? This is with the 4 at the end, so we could recover later. Okay, so let's go into the bus depot. Okay, so this was the bus depot. So let's go with the forest, for example. Yeah, Norway forest. I'll just correct myself to show you here. So this is the difference, just one, how I designed the sphere. By changing this, for example, let's go to the winter location. So the winter, like the light prop, is not dynamic. So this is I'm using the statics light props, which I defining here. And as we get closer, you can see that there is like the winter reflection here. Let's try something different. I want the Paris feel. So this is the streets of the Paris on the light props. Everything is from the texture.com. And you see, this is kind of the feel of this. And I can go also with, as I mentioned before, we go with the beach where we heard there. I will just find it. Sadly, there is sand query. No. I think this one should be okay. Let's try this. And this is like the sand. This is only that. Now, another feature that I kind of work is like why this is important. This is important because I have these light props. So let's put my debug light prop here. And as you see here, this is kind of my testing environment. So this is what it looks when there is like the maximum glossiness, so the surface is smooth, and there is like the full metallic. And if I will turn off the metallic, it's disappearing completely. Oh yeah, I know. Sorry, it's still kind of in work. So this is the object without the metallic. There is no reflection, anything. If I will put metallic here, everything looks smooth like that. Another is the glossiness, which is there, is, let's say, like I want 0.5. So it's not completely smooth, but it's also not super rough. And this is the result of the reflection on the objects. So as you see, you still can find the shape of the reflection that I used before, but it's pretty blurred. And then you can go into full like the roughness, so it's super rough surface, which will still get some of the light of the, as you can see here, it's still getting some of the light, but it's not, and there is no reflection, even if there is metal. This is kind of the way how I control how the whole location look. And it's pretty kind of cool, because let's hide the floor 1 and focus on something different. Let's disable the debug probes. Let's disable the probes because we don't want to see them. Envelopes. Looks on our, for example, barrels. This is one of the models that I managed to do there recently. So as you can see, this is the quality that I'm going into. This is the quality of the models and quality of the lighting that I want to achieve. That where you're looking like making the wooden barrel, the wood like looks like the wood, and metal looks like the metal. Exactly the same way how I see in the program where I creating them. Yeah, and to say the truth, the barrel took me, I don't know. I have 2 of them, so I'll show 2 of them. This is like the 2, 3, maybe 4 hours of work on both of them and texturing and everything. So yeah, this is where this is the kind of the quality that I want to go. And I will show you why later by just showing some of the pretty cool screenshot, I think, from the Lagnovia screenshot, just shots in the game. It should prove a little bit of the stuff. But yeah, so let's go down 1 level again. Yeah, here. Let's go turn off the all the debugging tools. And here we have the second barrel. Let's choose this one. Let's take it a little bit higher. And this is another kind of the barrels that I'm working on. Mike, it's pretty kind of optimal, you know. This is what I'm running on is right now the just standard laptop. And the funniest thing, all of this PBR stuff is not so heavy as you may think. There is a lot of more optimization there than comparing to what I have before. So it's working pretty damn good. You know, it's like I didn't still do the optimization, and I will give some control over the details. But most of them is like I don't doing the dynamic lighting, which I don't want to do right now because, you know, it's taking a lot of time. So this is kind of the thing. But let's forget about the barrel. Let's forget about that. Let's focus on the house. Another things that I do. It is kind of, it's looking kind of bad, you know. It's nothing there. But this is not the point of that. As you may notice, there is like the few of the things happening here where I have this, which is not right now. It's still work in progress. So what it is, this is the area where NPC can move. So this will allow to NPC move between the, let's hide few objects. As you see, there are doors which you can walk through, and there is the passage. So this meaning that when I will have the NPC, which I'm working on to add them, they will be able to navigate in the space of the location. And you know, this is kind of may not look like a lot, but let's think, yeah. Everything is hooked up, so right now it's not the right one. So what I will do, I will just rebuild, and everything is working again. Oh, look, something didn't get narrated the right way, so working on that. There is no connection here. I see I screw up something with the settings. Yeah, well, life. I'll need to improve that. But yeah, this is still work in progress. So this is another kind of the part where I'm working on. And as you see, everything kind of, did it crash? Yes, it's crashed. As you see, there are some problems. But yeah, so I also building all the tooling around it. So this is the kind of the important part. If I want to make the whole game, like to make the game that I want, I need to have the tooling which allowing me to test stuff like the sphere that you see showing the reflection and other things around. So yeah, let's start editor again. As you see, it's not long for the startup. Let's load the level again. We are here. This time let's not play around with this one. Let's remote. And let's just load the location that is the you see the location is loaded. Let's hide this and let's show some stuff that I mentioned. Nope, the editor is only developer. I'll try as much as I can to show you guys some of the cool kind of features. Yeah. I see I broke some shaders here. I will need to fix that. But there will be something stuff. So, yeah. So this is kind of another shot which I always love. There is some issue with the tower, but this is because I still didn't switch it to the new system like the houses here. So you see some of the houses looks a little bit weird, and this is because of that. The metal which I mentioned, let's check what is there happening. Let's go into the lighting. This is the whole lighting of the level. Yep. There is, you know, possibility of getting pretty few really nice shots. Real into a paper. Well, see that island? Yeah, here you have it. So there is like also the system for the sky. There is somewhere should be. Oh yeah, there is the sun. So there is this. There is of course, as I mentioned, all the metals look right now like the metals, which was super important. There is possibility, as you see, just moving. This is everything real time, so this is not pre-recorded, and this is the tool that I'm using all the time for designing stuff. And you know, you can do pretty cool stuff, like for example, this house. Let's say that I don't like the green color. So let's do, here is like the greenish, it's yellow more. Let's change it to something like red. Yeah, this is the map for the LBA1. So this is the remake of LBA1 that I'm working on. It's like the citadel in the second one is destroyed at the end of the first one. Yeah. So we have here what else I kind of work on in the meantime. It's like mostly I work on this rendering and this modification. There is, you know, a few other locations like the ship here, which kind of is still work in progress. There's a few nice kind of location here. There is Twins and House here, which looks like that. Yep, I'm finishing, yeah. If this is the kind of this, let's leave just the question and point me out, freak, where to go next. So yeah, as you see, this is kind of what I'm working on. There is still some issue, there is still a lot of work to do, but slowly but steady is moving in direction where it should. So yeah, anybody have questions while I'm waiting? Okay, no worries. It should be kind of pretty interesting right now because most consuming part I think is the part where I need to have kind of missing the tooling, because adding all of this stuff, like for example PBR, I tried for the more than half year to implement, and just I think a month ago I managed to kind of push it enough to kind of get there. Yes, Blake, I'm working on it alone, so it's not so bad as it may seem. It's just that I cannot kind of separate work on the same stuff in the same moment. But as you see, it's also quality is relatively high, so it's hard for me to find people that want to help with it, especially that it's for free right now. So, well, Digimake, it's still work in progress, and it will be only better. You will see that with time, the quality of everything should increase, especially when I will start adding the NPC and putting a little bit more life into the whole location, because there is still these problems. And I would love to kind of add the cloud. I would love to add the cloud. I would love to add the few other things, but yeah. Well, I don't have beta tester because I'm not in beta, but I have few people that helping me with the working on the project. So I mean, like testing and verifying it. Well, the thing about what I'm still working on is animation, and this is not visible here, but the whole animation of the main character is redone from the scratch. So yeah, there are a few people that helping me with the project in terms of the testing. And for now, I don't want to grow because the development process is still relatively kind of, there is lot of the delays between one, like the release, and another. As you know, it's I'm working on this alone, and I'm working right now on really hard problems. It's like the navigation mesh, as you see, is broke a little bit. Well, you know, the funny thing about it is I'm working on multiple roles, so I try to open as much possible roles that you can. So you know, nope. This is kind of the thing about it is they working in WebGL. So this is like there are some requirement. I run their build on this computer, and sadly it didn't have performance that I kind of would expect from that, and I have a whole the lighting system. That's why I kind of developing it in the native. So you know, this is the one of the reason why I cannot kind of use their code or tool like the tooling from the art. As I mentioned, I'm using pretty high stuff, and I also thinking about using a few more. So I want to go right now. I'm using the substance for painting. That's why I kind of have these nice materials of the metal and finish of the stuff. So I kind of learn how to use it. But I want to also use the Marvel design, which it's standard in the kind of industry right now. And what it is the simulation of the cloth. So what's happening when you modeling the object, as you can see, for example, on my t-shirts, here there are these like the folds that are created. And what's happening, this is this tool allowing you to generate this fold for clothes. This kind of increasing the quality of the models for the characters. And I want to learn it to kind of utilize it more. Yep. Just give me info freak when he will be ready. Yep. Yeah, it is. It's just the problem that is you need to grasp it, and yeah, they know about it. You would be surprised, Blake. It's really not so hardware like there is not such a requirement for the hardware. So I know for sure that there will be OpenGL 4.6. If you have the support for OpenGL 4.6, it should run. And the thing about it is like the whole system is pretty optimized and is utilizing a lot of the multi-threading. So I showed, I think, in the previous stream, where I show how heavy multi-threading it is. And I kind of going with this pattern even more. So right now, when I was running this, in background, I was running the tool that I have for the compilation of the resources. It's like, I can show it. So this is the second part of the tool. As you see, I have like right now running 8 builders. So I will have 8 processes compiling the resources for the game, and in the same time, it was automatically compiling. And this is still not release build, but development one. When you turn into the release mode, a lot of stuff will be also removed from the build to make it faster. Yeah. And you know, this is kind of the things. And as I mentioned, for me the important is quality. For a moment I was a little bit lost kind of where I want to go with the characters and interiors, because they need to give the LBA vibe, and this is important for me, but I think I kind of solve it. Also doing a lot of doodling, kind of trying to come with the characters, kind of the style of them, and improve it more. Yeah, don't worry. It's like if you have any questions, just ask. It's like I'm here to answer that. It's not. I'm not here to show off only. It's only about if you are interested in something, just say it. If you don't like something, just say it. It's like project is still in meantime of developing, and it's LBA, but in the same time, it's reimagination of the LBA. So it will be not exactly the same, but I want it to have the feel. It is this. What do you mean by to use just twinsen? I'm not fully aware like the DJ mic. In the original game, probably not. I'm considering maybe adding as the option for controlling kind of doing the co-op game where you can just sit down with somebody on one computer and just play around. It would be pretty cool, kind of. So it would be fun to just have this one person playing like Twinsen and another like Twinsen friend who just popping up and helping with the main story. But yes, I will do that. So if you Zoe attack you, if you will attack Zoe, she may react pretty kind of nasty to you, and I will be sure that it was the case. So it may even like why not to end the game there? She will kind of if you will hit her, she will just do your stuff and kind of end of the game. Because what is the purpose of you saving somebody who you beat? Like there will be a lot of stuff like that. There is I have the story built there where there is a lot of these small like the details here and there which building this LBA kind of mode. But if you think that LBA1 is like it's pretty dark, and I think that this is also in the nature of the other line. If you think about their game, Alone in the Dark and Time Commando, they are not really kind of colorful game. They are a pretty dark game with colorful visuals. Well, you see, the LBA1 that it won't be the same LBA that I critic. So the thing about it is, this is the first island, which is very similar to the original. But as you see, the balloon there, people notice that, and this is already different. But the second island and the next one will be a lot more modified. So you will have always whole island to explore, and the second island will be, from my calculation, 4 times the size of the Citadel Island. So it will be a lot of new places. Yeah, and also don't be surprised, second island will be even heavier modified than the Citadel, because there is few things that I kind of don't like about the design. It looks pretty flat in the original game, and I want to make it feel kind of more vertical and give more to explore. So the first island is the tribute in some way, and also I like the design of it. But the second island I will start modifying even more, just to kind of more or less location will be in the same place. They will have similarities, but in the same time there will be just differences. So this is kind of the thing. There will be also a lot of Easter eggs, a lot of secret location, secret things. There will be also a lot of quests that weren't part of the original game. Yeah, there will be. What I want to do, I want to go more kind of into this may sound weird, don't take it like literally, but it's more kind of RPG way, where there is this main quest, saving Zoe, but there is also these side things where you can do them, you may not, it's up to you. Yep. Well, I won't say what I plan to do, but there is few things that I already know that I want to do. You will meet some characters that you know more or less, and from the LBA and outside from the LBA, but there will be, I think it will be pretty cool. Especially that also the second island is a little bit more foresty. So the first island is almost fully occupied. The second island, there will be a lot of this forest. Yeah. So we'll see. There is also like I have the whole updated story for LBA1, which is also taking into account LBA2 and location from LBA1. Like you see the lighthouse, which wasn't available in the LBA. Yeah, me too. But it's like right now there is few stuff that I need to finish, and there is few new location that I didn't show, and I won't show them because I want them to be surprise to everybody. So that's why I only try to limit for the updates to this one location that I show. Yeah, it's so far I can quote few things from my friend who got the hands on the build. Is like when he was playing around with the game, so running around the location, it's like he thought in the first place that I don't have a lot, but then he started running and running around the location, exploring different places, checking stuff, and turned out there was pretty a lot. But yeah, well, I think that we will finish today for that. Sorry for the pure resolution, but it's like I will try better next time because I'm kind of, as I mentioned, this is special situation, special stream in these terms, because normally I would have full setup without any problem. But yeah, if you had fun, this is the most important one, and have fun on the next stream. We'll be raiding Bell earned something. Yeah, so have a fun and see you next time.
DJ Mike Max, thanks for the follow. Thanks for the raid, Coffemonsters. Dude, you got some crazy shit going on that I need to know more about. Really small window. MGC SO80, thanks for the follow. Welcome, everybody.